Clean Energy News 2024. There's been a lot going on the last few weeks. You all know about it, but let me run you through. There's a couple things you probably don't know about as well. Blackouts in Melbourne. Huge ordeal, 500,000 people without power. AGL, Australia's biggest energy retailer, quadrupling their profit. It's insane, so we're going to touch on that. Lightning Energy have just been announced as a premium installer from Tesla, so we're going to thank them for that. We'll talk more about that in a sec. The Master Plumbers Association in New South Wales. They have actually launched an investigation into poor quality heat pumps that are subsidised by the government that they don't believe meet the standards. In Queensland, they've just announced a $3,000 rebate up to $4,000 for low-income earners on a battery. It's the Queensland Battery Booster rebate, and it's huge news for the people of Queensland. The last thing we're going to talk about is our power bills here at our office and at my house. We're still getting zero bills, get it every month. Last month was zero, this month was zero. We're in credit, so we'll talk about that in a sec as well. Clean Energy News, February 2024. There's been a lot going on in the clean energy space, so I just wanted to take a few minutes to break it down for you and let you know what the big events are. Now, the first issue, everybody knows, massive blackout in Melbourne yesterday. 500,000 people right across Victoria with no power. There's still 10,000 people without power. It was a massive storm, came through, knocked down a whole bunch of power lines, trees and everything. Absolute chaos on the streets, and yeah, 500,000 people without power. Look, it's really crazy to think at the moment that we're paying so much for energy and it's not even reliable. So we actually warned everyone of this back in September 2023. If you were paying attention, we put out a video letting everyone know that there was going to be blackouts over summer. Some people were smart, they made a decision. Some people thought maybe they'll just risk it. Unfortunately, those people didn't have power. So you can see the difference between the people that did and didn't have power. That was obvious who was prepared yesterday. So it's just going to show that now, even though we're paying more for electricity than ever, the grid is really not reliable. You can look at the weather now. It's the middle of summer here in Melbourne, and the weather is not good. So it's seeming like global warming is potentially starting to kick in. It's getting harder to deny that. So just look out for yourself, stay safe, make sure that you've got something to resort to if there is a blackout. On Friday, it was announced that AGL, Australia's biggest energy retailer, have quadrupled their profits in the first 6 months of this financial year. Now that's crazy. They made 28% more profit than they thought they would. And the insane thing about this is they can't even keep the lights on. As we saw yesterday in an extreme weather event, you're still going to go without power. You're still going to be paying a daily supply charge. You're still paying for something that they can't even deliver. So it's ridiculous. It really shows what AGL actually value, and it seems like they value profits over people and they're not looking out for the community. And yeah, I think it's time that we make a stand. Now, this actually affected the share price. The share price of the company went up 10%. So it really just goes to show who AGL actually care about. They care about their shareholders, and they don't necessarily care about the end users, the people that are buying energy from them. That's just where they make their profit to funnel it somewhere else. So it's sad to see, but unfortunately, they're just making it harder for everyday Australians. So have a think about what you're doing with your energy, where you're getting it from, and who you're supporting when you actually pay for that. In other news, a personal one for us, we've been recently recognised by Tesla for excellence in delivering their product. They've announced us to be one of their Tesla premium installers. This is a very exclusive club with Tesla. We've been working for a really long time to get here, so they've finally agreed to let us in. They only do an intake once a year, so it took a while. But yeah, now we've made it to premium, so you know you can trust us. Tesla trusts us. We're one of the top installers in this Melbourne area, as well as other areas around Australia as well. So thank you, Tesla, for the recognition, and we look forward to doing a couple hundred batteries this year, maybe more next year. Next up in the clean energy news in Australia, there is so far unconfirmed rumours that Qcell will be leaving the country. Everyone has been talking about it in the industry. I haven't seen anything official, but I've heard that they've gone and they've let a whole bunch of staff go and they're planning to exit. Now, Qcell were bought out by Hanwha, the Korean company, Korean massive group. They were selling premium panels in Australia for quite a long time, and it's looking like now maybe customers aren't prepared to pay the difference for the quality that they're getting isn't justified, and their sales have dropped off. I know they tried to introduce a battery about a year or two ago, and I don't think the battery sales are very good. So anyone who bought that battery, now they've got one, And potentially Q-cells are not going to be supporting the warranty. I don't know, we're waiting for more confirmation on that, but it's unfortunate to see a solar panel manufacturer leave the country and potentially leave installers and homeowners in the lurch. But stay tuned for more information on Q-cells. Next up, in the clean energy news, the Master Plumbers Association of New South Wales are launching an investigation into cheap hot water units that are subsidised by a government scheme. Now, they're concerned that a lot of these units are coming from China, installed by small companies which are a high risk of phoenixing, and they've got some really poor reviews online for the products and the companies, which is potentially causing nightmares right across the state. Now, their concern is this is all subsidised by the government, and people think if it's subsidised by the government, they must be good, but the people from the Master Plumbers Association disagree. Now, for those that are actually paying attention, I expressed concern in Victoria about 6 months ago about low quality heat pumps that were going for free, and I was actually asked to remove that video. So if you saw it, you saw it. If not, I don't want to go into it, but we will just take this from a third party. This has actually been backed up by Reclaim. Reclaim sell a premium hot water unit with an Australian-made tank. Now, is this just a competitor trying to take out the cheaper units out of the market? I don't know. What do you think? We'll see how the investigation goes to see whether these cheap hot water units are up to scratch or if maybe they get kicked off the scheme. Keep an eye on that one. Watch out for deals that seem a little bit too good to be true. Next up in the clean energy news, Queensland battery booster rebate. Now, it was just announced about 2 days ago that it's official, it's on, you can claim it. It's a $3,000 rebate on a solar battery that you could get in your house if you live in Queensland, so it's great news. It can be up to $4,000, but only for people who earn up to $66,000 a year. Now, the only concern about the $4,000 is I don't know who earns $66,000 a year who can afford the $10,000 to buy a battery after the rebate, roughly. But we'll see. But for anyone with a household income under $180,000, there's a $3,000 rebate up for grabs in Queensland, so you'd be crazy not to take it because I know there was a huge uptake of solar there, all battery-ready systems, so it's time to get some batteries connected and make sure you guys have got blackout protection so you don't get caught out like Melbourne did. All right, last up with the clean energy news, a little bit local for us. They announced the AGL announced quadrupling their profits, but we've just got our bills for both our warehouses here, and as you can see, we've got zero, we've got credit, and zero with another credit. So we're $500 in credit here. So AGL quadrupled their profits, but they didn't get any from us. And while we're here, I'll mention here's the bill for my house. We've got a $1,200 credit here, and I was the only one on my street with power last night when the power went out due to the blackout in Melbourne. So there you go. If you've got a Tesla battery, you could too be in credit and have power in a blackout. So definitely worth the money there. And that's it for the clean energy news for February. We'll check back in a couple of weeks when there's more news. We'll let you know how things are developing. Remember, follow us on socials to stay up to date with all the news in the energy market. We'll give you the hot tip on what's going to happen next. You just got to listen, and yeah, see you next time.